The Ifootage SL60DN is a really great compact video light that Ifootage designed specifically for high color accuracy in an incredibly small package. And in this video, we're going to show all the different features that this light has and talk about some of the pros and cons that it has. Ifootage did send me this light for free for purposes of making this video, but all the thoughts in this video are my own and they have no say in the overall content of it. When you get the SL60DN, you can tell that Ifootage really wanted it to be as small as possible. In fact, it uses a mini Bowens mount and it has a small mini Bowens hyper reflector. So to use it with standard Bowens mount accessories, they actually included an adapter in the box too. The SL60DN is a 70-watt light that's daylight balanced and has a very natural tint. I don't have a spectrometer, but when you turn it on, you can really tell that they tried to get that daylight feel with it without having any sort of tint or shift to the light. The light has two knobs on the back that you can use to adjust brightness and to go through the menu, and you also have a couple different effects that you can use that I didn't really find necessary to use on a light like this. I'm using it as my key light right now, and I've got it at about 18%. I'm shooting on the Sony FX30, and our settings are f1.8 and ISO of 100. Now, if you have f2.8 or f4 lenses, you're probably going to need to raise the brightness on the light quite a bit. I also have it pretty close to me. When I'm shooting B-roll or shooting at f7 or f8, I do have to raise the brightness on the light almost to 100%, but it has plenty of power in the light. Now, I will say there's a fan that's built into the light and you don't hear it when you're running it at lower brightnesses. Once you kick it up to about 80 or 90%, it does make kind of a higher pitched sound. Now, when I ran it close by my microphone, I wasn't able to detect the sound, but it could be a little bit annoying sometimes because you kind of just hear a little chirping off in the distance. Ifootage lets you turn the fan off, but as soon as you turn the fan off, it actually drops the brightness of the light as well. So if you want to run it at max brightness, you're going to have to live with the fan noise out of the SL60DN. You can either control the light with knobs and buttons on the back, or you can also pair it with the Ifootage Lumen app to allow you to access all the parameters just by using your phone. This is really useful, especially if you get several of the lights from Ifootage, because you can create different groups and scenes and be able to quickly adjust things without having to go over to every single light that you're using. On the back of the light, we find a screen, the knobs and buttons for controlling the brightness, turning the light on, and adjusting other parameters on the menu. And we also see that there's both a DC input and a USB power delivery input. Now, they do say that you need 100 watts of power to power this light, but it's kind of cool that they built that USB-C functionality in. But the main power adapter that comes with this does use DC. Now, I do wish that it had a locking DC jack just to keep it from being pulled out on accident, but it shouldn't be an issue for most people. Ifootage tried to put some really nice touches in with the different accessories and things that are included with this. First and foremost, the power cable is really long, and then you also get a power supply that this cable plugs into. They even include the little Velcro ties for wrapping it up nicely, which I always appreciate. You also get a mini Bowens reflector, which I didn't find to be super useful with this light. And then you get the mini Bowens to full-size Bowens adapter. This also has a slot on the bottom of it, so you can choose whether you mount the light directly to a light stand or if you mount the Bowens adapter to a light stand. This can be useful if you're using a heavier modifier, because then you're able to take the pressure off the mini Bowens mount and instead just put it on the adapter. Now, Ifootage also includes a really nice spigot adapter that uses either a 1/4-20 or a 3/8 inch thread, so that allows you to put it on top of a monopod or a tripod as well without having to use a light stand. If you're just holding the SL60DN and looking at all the features on it, it's really nice. I love how small the light stand adapter is, yet how durable it is too. The light stand adapter also has a 1/4-20 inch thread on the side of it too, so you can thread that light directly onto a tripod head if you need to. One problem I did have with this light stand adapter, the knob on the side of it is hard to get it to lock into place if you're using a heavier modifier. It just feels like you get it all the way tightened and it can still move just a little bit. Now, for most people, this isn't going to be an issue. I was using a larger modifier just testing this light, but just be aware it can be a little hard to tighten it all the way. You might be able to add a couple of your own washers to get a little bit more clamping power out of it. So the light does include the mini Bowens to Bowens mount adapter, so you can use it with standard Bowens mount softboxes. Ifootage also sent me one of their softboxes that we've been using for this whole video without the grid on, and it works really well and it's balanced super great. I've even got it on a pretty lightweight light stand, which is kind of nice to be able to use that instead of lugging my heavy C-stand around like I regularly do. This feels a lot more durable than some of the other cheaper lights I've used in this $150 price range. It just feels really durable and quality when you get the light out of the box and when you're using it. If you buy the kit that's $150, you don't get a case, so if you want to get the case, you're going to need to upgrade to a slightly more expensive set that this light comes with. At $150, I think this is a really great first light for someone who wants to get into the Ifootage Anglerfish series, because they also have several other bigger, higher wattage lights that are available, and they all use the same Lumen app for control, and they're all going to be matched really well. Now this light's only daylight. They also have different bicolor versions of the light, but the daylight version that I have is going to give you better color accuracy than a bicolor light is, and it's also going to give you a little bit more brightness. The main cons with this light are that you have to use the mini Bowens to Bowens adapter if you want to use standard modifiers with this light, and the fan noise that you can run into if you're using it at a higher power. But if you're planning on using it for a small desk setup or a talking head setup like I'm using right now, you're going to have no problems with getting plenty of brightness out of the light, especially if you're using lenses that go all the way down to f1.4 or f2.8. If you're getting into higher f-stops, you are going to need to run the light at a higher power, so just be careful with that you're not running it so bright that you're causing that fan noise to get in your recordings. If you're interested in the SL60DN, I have links in the description below. If you have any other questions about this light, leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer them.